You're watching Boston Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I'm Will Scott. We got some rumors and some news to hit on today's show, which is why you should subscribe, because we're always going to bring you Celtics news and rumors, multiple videos each and every single week. So go down, hit that subscribe button right now. If you're all about the C's, you have come to the right place. And we'll start today's show talking about Nerlens Noel, the possibility of the Celtics picking him up. The Pistons bought out the veteran center yesterday, and he was a name that was linked to Boston before the trade deadline. In fact, it was reported that the Celtics called the Detroit Pistons about Nerlens Noel, and he was not traded at the deadline. He was certainly a buyout candidate over there in Detroit, and yesterday the Pistons officially bought him out. So he's out there and available to sign, and there have been some teams that have shown some interest. Perhaps the Celtics will be one of those teams, but his stat line this year is really nothing crazy. 2.3 points per game, 2.6 rebounds per game, 0.5 assists per game, and just shooting 40% from the floor. So he would be a back-of-the-bench guy, a guy to kind of be behind some of the centers that you have on this Celtics team. But I don't think it's worth spending your final roster spot on Nerlens Noel. They got to get that right? They have got to spend the final roster spot on someone that could really contribute on this team. And I'm not saying Noel could not contribute, but he's not going to be getting big minutes a game. He would be back of the bench, and you really don't need him because you have a lot of depth right now in the Celtics team. Taking a look at the Celtics centers, you have Robert Williams III, you have Al Horford, you have Luke Cornett, and you have Mike Muscala, who you, of course, acquired at the trade deadline, and Moose has been really solid so far for the C's, especially shooting the ball. So I'm okay with those four guys being the four Celtics big men the rest of the season going into the playoffs. I do not think you have got to sign Nerlens Noel. Now, if you did not trade for Mike Muscala, I think this would be a different conversation. I would be more open to going out and getting Noel to add some depth down low. I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense for the Celtics to do this right now. Now, should the Celtics sign Nerlens Noel? Type S for sign or type P for pass down in the comment section. It is the pinned comment on today's video, so go down and reply when an ad break comes here in a few seconds. I'll say this. If the Celtics feel like, we don't really trust Rob Williams to stay healthy, Al Horford's been a little bit banged up, we want to add some more depth at the 5, and Nerlens Noel wants a ring, and they can work something out, then maybe. But right now I'm typing P for pass. Type S for sign or P for pass down in the comment section. We're going to talk about another name here to watch because the buyout deadline is fast approaching. So March 1st, tomorrow, is the deadline for players to reach a buyout agreement with their respective teams. I believe a name to watch is Kelly Olynyk, who we're, of course, all familiar with, a Celtics legend, if you will. Played for the C's from 2013 and 2017. He is now with the Utah Jazz. He was heavily linked to some Celtics trade rumors before the deadline. He did not get traded to Boston. He did not get traded anywhere. He's still in Utah, and I feel like he could get bought out before tomorrow's deadline. And his numbers are really, really solid, a lot better than Noel's. 12.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 3.3 assists per game, 49.5% field goal percentage. I just mentioned he played for the Celtics for a little bit there, started his career 2013 to 2017. He was a member of the Celtics, was with the C's for 4 seasons, and was a really big part of some of those really good Celtics teams under Brad Stevens. And Brad Stevens, of course, is now the Celtics president of basketball operations. So there's a lot of familiarity there. When he played for the Celtics, he averaged 9.5 points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game, then went on and played for the Miami Heat. From 2017 to 2021, the Heat were a team that was very much linked to him in trade rumors. The Celtics and the Heat were the top 2 teams, but again, he did not get traded. Last season, played for the Rockets and the Pistons, put up over 19 points per game in a Rockets jersey last year. It was really good. The numbers weren't as good in Detroit. Then goes to Utah, where he's averaging about 9.5, or I should say, he averaged 9.5 points per game with the Celtics, 12.1 points per game that he has averaged with the Utah Jazz this year. Now, do you want to sign Kelly Olynyk if he gets bought out? And that's a big if. The clock is ticking, about 24 hours left to get that done. Y for yes, in for no, down in the comments section. Do you want to bring Kelly Olynyk back to Boston if he gets bought out. I think Olynyk would be a great fit. I'm sure he would have a lot of interest in coming back to Boston, and I'm sure Boston would have a lot of interest bringing him back if he gets bought out. But I have not seen a whole lot of stuff recently about a possible buyout with Kelly Olynyk. So he's probably staying in Utah. I would love it if he was able to negotiate a buyout here in the next 24 hours. But Utah is a team right now that is on the brink of a playoff spot. They're in a play-in position right now in the West. They'll probably want to hold on to a key piece in Kelly Olynyk. Yeah, it's a Jazz team that's rebuilding, but I think they'll want to keep Kelly Olynyk here for the rest of the season. Let's get into some Celtics news now. That game last night, obviously very disappointing. We talked about the game briefly in yesterday's show, kind of previewing the game, and the Celtics eventually lost to the New York Knicks 109-94. Jayson Tatum was ejected for the first time in his career with about 3.5 minutes left to go in the game. And in the game previous against the Sixers, he dropped 18, which is very low, but I think we forgot about he kind of struggled in that game because he made the game-winning three at the end. But he also struggled in this game. 14 points, 9 assists, 6 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 9 from three-point range, and he was ejected. Now, Tatum said after the game, kind of explaining why he got ejected, he told the official that this was, quote, the best officiated game that he had ever been a part of. So obviously he was being a bit sarcastic when he told that to the official, and I guess the official didn't appreciate it. The free throw disparity was an absolute joke. The Celtics shot 11 total free throws. I repeat, 11 total free throws in this game. The Knicks shot 34. So Jayson Tatum had every right to be a little bit frustrated with the officials. Joe Mazzulla was also frustrated. He was asked about the officials after the game and said, "How can I say this without getting in trouble?" So Joe Mazzulla was very frustrated. Jayson Tatum was very frustrated. A frustrating night all around at Madison Square Garden. But give credit where credit's due. The Knicks are playing really, really well right now. They have not lost since the trade deadline. They're 6-0 with Josh Hart. They're on that win streak. They're all the way up to the 5 seed in the East. And if the Celtics were to play this team in the playoffs, it would certainly be a tough series. I don't think the Celtics have anything to worry about in terms of losing the series, but it is a series that could go maybe 5 or 6 games. It's worth noting, too, that Jaylen Brown was out. So the Celtics were not at full strength. Jaylen Brown was out due to personal reasons. Hope JB is back for the next game. But that's obviously worth noting that the Celtics lost last night to the Knicks without Jaylen Brown. Now, going back to Tatum here, what's your concern level with Tatum? I mean, 32 points in the last 2 games when that's basically what he's averaging per game. So, yeah, I mean, that's not good. But in terms of my concern level, it's at a 0 for number 0. Jayson Tatum is going to be absolutely fine. But scale it 1 to 10 down in the comment section. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're always going to have you covered with Celtics news and rumors.